100%. I think the guy who just put the stamp on that is, the top dog in the game. He can say whatever he wants to. LeBron James came out to LA for a reason.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah.
I
LeBron,
like.
if LeBron comes, is like, yeah, something's going on. Once again, JD, what's up?
My guy Ben, what's going on, man?
So what happened? What happened on Friday night?
Yeah, man. It's live music event. My guy Calvin Truitt puts it on. Heavy into the music scene around here, like live band, jazz, R&B, conscious rap. Um, think of a guy like Common would be there, or Jill Scott would be there, or Erica Badu would be there, or
So conscious.
yeah, conscious. Mind you, all three of those legends that I just said, they weren't there, but
They were
that,
not.
it's that kind of vibe. People who aspire to be like them.
You're like, there's a lot of people who look like Erica Badu here.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That is true. You see a lot of Erica Badu impersonators around here. But yeah, so my guy Strick from back home, rapper.
He performed.
Yeah, he performed. He did a few of his songs. So we all kind of run in the same clique from back home, and he was coming out here anyway to visit me for a few days, and it just so happened this thing was going on. I was with my barber who puts it on, and I was like, yo, my guy who
Where did you find this barber?
mutual friends out here. The barber universe is small. Me and all my friends need haircuts, so we kind of just trade
So
contacts.
for the record, JD's been out here for what, about a year?
Yeah.
And so how long did it take to find the barber?
Man, you can't waste no time finding a barber. I need a haircut every week, so that's one of the first things I found when I came out here.
Yeah. So tell the people how did you get out here? What, like, give us the story of your march out west to LA.
Yeah, so technically I've been out here for a few years. Like my senior year, I was flying out here every other week, doing business and networking out here. That was in 2013. Spent a lot of time out here just traveling back and forth while I was finishing.
You were like 19 years old or something in 2013.
Right. But yeah, so, and then from there, as I continued to play basketball, I would train here during the summers. A lot of my friends made it to the NBA, and as you know, the NBA community, I'd say 70% of the NBA community spends their off season in LA, and so me and all of my boys would just be out here, and we would rent a crib for 2-3 months, probably from May to August, and we did that for like 2-3 summers, and obviously liked it a lot. Growing up in Detroit, Michigan is pretty opposite of that. Obviously, Detroit is always going to be home, and that's that. But everything that LA has to offer, especially when you're pursuing an athletic career or you're pursuing a business career, it's not much you can find like LA out here. So, what brought me out here to living out here full time is opportunities of expanding on the business interests, being involved with all type of things, being involved with sitting here with Ben Smith right now, things like that.
So let's talk about that. Let's get into that. So we know that for ballers, for NBA athletes, LA is becoming a home.
Yeah.
Why is that? Walk people through that.
I think it's multifaceted. I think that when it comes just down to the core of what the main job of an athlete is obviously being able to perform athletically. You have a boom of health industry innovation going on in LA. You find a Soul Cycle or a Rise Nation on every corner. So you easily accessible to training your body to be the best it can be. I'd say some of the best trainers out there, personal trainers, strength and conditioning coaches, are out here. And then from there, obviously, if we go into the boom on YouTube, whether it's the Rico Hines run, whether it's everything that's UCLA, whether it's the runs that are going on in Santa Monica, the runs up at LMU. I mean, you can't duplicate the ability to find pickup games because Paul George, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, KD, the upper echelon of the NBAers out here, and then all the aspiring players, whether it's Devin Booker and D'Angelo Russell and whoever it may be, everybody is out here. So between being able to find the runs to be able to compete and get better in, and being able to take care of your body with the latest innovations of health. I covered strength and conditioning, but the best physical therapists out here. SRLA is out here.
Yeah, these runs are epic. I mean, these pictures are leaking out now during the summer, and you just see incredible. Like you're like, man, this is like Batman teaming up with Robin. You know, like it's everybody playing everybody.
Yeah.
Have you seen what's the best one that you've seen?
UCLA.
UCLA is the run.
Yeah, UCLA. That's anybody would tell you that.
Yeah, like a secret gym there.
I mean, it's not so much a secret anymore, but yeah, it's John Wooden's original gym. It's known as the recreation gym for the school now. The official basketball team doesn't use it. They have their own practice facility, but they use it in the summertime when, all the NBA stars come through. And it's a guy named Rico Hines who runs it. He's a former UCLA player.
Man, we got to get Rico here.
We can get that done.
Let's get Rico.
Yeah.
So, and what's the best matchup you've witnessed in the summer, personally? Have you seen something dope?
So when you say best matchup, are you considering that a battle or a domination?
Oh, wow. You tell me, man. You tell me.
Yeah. So battle-wise, a few summers ago in the gym with Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, those were some pretty epic times.
Wow.
This was before Joel Embiid came onto the scene. This was during one of the off seasons where he just came off of an injured season, so he hadn't even played yet. So,
he was still like a mystery. People didn't know if he was like for real or just like talk or like what was going on.
Yeah. So, Joel, as everyone already knows, he has an infectious personality, and that's not just on the internet. That's him in real life. So as soon as he walks into the gym,
that's real.
He's talking to everybody. Like me and him met, and within 10 seconds, made me feel like I knew him for the last 10 years. So that's kind of him. So everyone kind of gravitates to Joel. He's a cool guy and all, and he walks into the gym one day, and I had never really even seen him play, even at Kansas. I didn't really know much about him. I just knew he had a cool personality. This is a cool guy. But we step onto that court, man, and it's not even like he was playing against, an NBA guy. I think it was an overseas kid, but
he was matched up on you, in this.
Yeah. He was playing against a overseas pro. It's comparable in size, about 6'10", 260. Somebody not a slouch.
Yeah.
And when I tell you Joel put on an embarrassing performance in terms of how he embarrassed this guy,
yeah,
I was like, okay, this is the best center in the East right now. And this was like summer of 2015 before he had even played.
So I feel like you have this, like you of all people, you have this view, like you knew that, right? Where the rest of the world was like, man, is this guy for real? Like he was drafted. I saw him at Kansas. I actually thought I'm going to toot my own horn. I thought he was amazing at Kansas. Okay. I shot, he was showing flashes here and there. Like, who is that? Man, right? But you get to see all that.
Yeah.
And that's LA.
Yeah.
You obviously witnessed, a talent like Joel Embiid. How do you personally identify talent? Like, what's your process? Maybe you can also walk through people, a little bit of what you're doing now every day. You're working with NBA talent. You're working with athletes. You're the man behind the scenes. Tell the people a little bit about what you do and how you identify talent.
I think it's layered of how I go about it. I think that the first and foremost thing I think anybody's just gonna see skill set. Like, can this guy shoot? Can this guy dribble? Just like anybody else does. When you said you were watching Joel Embiid, um, I asked you, what did you notice about him at Kansas? Like, what stuck out to you that you said, okay, this guy can play?
Man, he was fluid. He was just graceful. Like he was getting up and down the court,
Right.
and he was huge.
Yeah.
And he also just could, when healthy, he was just dominating.
Yeah.
Dominating. Like there's a certain, like, for me at least, and everyone will be like, of course, but when I saw KD in college,
Yeah.
that was like something I'd never seen before. Occasionally when you see guys who you're just like, all right, I've never seen this before,
Yeah.
that's when I know they're going to be incredible, you know?
So, I mean, just like anybody, if anyone has somewhat of some type of knowledge of basketball, I think it's pretty easy to identify if a guy can shoot, if a guy is 7 feet tall like Joel Embiid and can move like a guard. I think if you're a 7-footer with shooting guard skills like Kevin Durant, I think that's pretty easy. But the thing that I value the most is personality, and it's hard to tell that just doing it from a TV screen. So obviously with my background and being exposed to it and being around it so much, it makes it easier for me to identify personality. But you know, there's a lot of guys that can play. There's a lot of guys who have an abnormal amount of talent. Like that's not everything though. I think that anybody that will tell you that has achieved greatness in the NBA and has achieved greatness in sports period is, you know, there's a lot of talented people, but talent is not going to make you achieve all the accolades and awards that you want. It's heart, determination, focus, all the cliche shit that people say, but it's real. So, for example, of what I'm talking about, like say we're in a group working out, and it's Joel Embiid and Anthony Davis and John Wall and whoever it might be, and say, you know, we're in a 2-on-2, 3-on-3 competition, and of course, when you got that level of talent in the gym, there are going to be plays made that are incredible on one sense, but completely embarrassing for the person who the play gets made against. That's a good way to see personality, to see response to adversity. So if Joel goes in and dunks on Anthony Davis and embarrassing, and everyone starts yelling in the gym, and AD just shuts down the rest of the day and doesn't want to play hard, okay, AD is incredible, but all right, that's something to be aware of.
You're watching for that.
Yeah, that's that. Now, don't get me wrong, that didn't happen, and AD probably would turn around and dunk back on Joel.
AD, if you're watching or listening, please don't
Right.
take JD's comments personally.
No, that's my boy, AD. He's a real one. So that was just an example, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, for me, my process is identifying personality. Like, I'm in the gym this summer with Alonzo Trier. Immediately within 2 to 3 days, I'm saying, okay, this kid has it. Before, when he had absolutely no draft stock, and he never had draft stock, he didn't get drafted, I did not care what anyone said. I spent 2 straight months with that kid. Everything that he's doing in the NBA right now, I'm not surprised at all. You just have it. Like, when you can come to a gym for 60 straight days, and the level of intensity is as high as it is for him, the way he approaches working, and it never lowered one day, I'm like, okay, that's different. You can't teach that.
See, I love it. So JD's referencing Alonzo Trier, the rookie phenom with the New York Knicks, who just an incredible story. It's something that you and your dad worked on this summer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Look, everyone knows I'm a Tucson fan. I'm an Arizona fan, so I've been watching Alonzo for a long time, 3 or 4 years. And I have to be honest, most people in Tucson would get frustrated with Alonzo.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he was a controversial player for Arizona because some people felt like, he didn't pass enough.
Yeah.
He was out for his own. But what you're saying is you actually identified some of those skills, those traits, and realized that he had a ton of potential. The work ethic, the engine was just there.
Yeah.
And so that meant other things could happen.
100%. So to piggyback off what you're saying, I'll tell you a story. Me and my high school coach have a special relationship where we're always debating basketball. He's a old school basketball fanatic that lives and breathes this every day. So he's long time, uh, got 2 decades worth of high school basketball experience back home in Detroit, and that's kind of what he pays attention to the most. He identifies seventh and eighth graders and follows them throughout their whole career. He's the guy that you know. LeBron James is a 14-year-old and he has a name around the Midwest area. Mass is driving down to Ohio to see a 14-year-old play. That's how much he puts into it. So he knows these kids at the grassroots level, and he identifies the ones he likes, and he follows them all the way through. So that's kind of who I get a lot of information from, because I know Mass probably has.
What's his name?
His name is Fred Massey, but everyone knows him as Mass.
Fred Massey.
Yeah.
Mass.
But that's
We're gonna call up Fred someday.
Of course. He would sit and talk to us for hours. But so long story short, this is one of the kids. Alonzo Trier is one of the kids he always followed, and he most of the time me and Mass are not gonna agree on who can play and who can't. Mass likes a certain type of player, and I like a certain type of player, and it's just friendly banter, like just going back and forth, arguing. You know how sports is.
Yeah.
I like one team, you like another team. Like that's kind of how we go about it. So, in this particular case though, I was serious. Mass kept telling me like, man, this kid Alonzo Trier, Arizona, he's the one. I'm telling you, I followed him since he was in high school. Seattle area kid, moved around to different high schools. He can really play. I might have saw him play one time in Arizona. I'm right with you and the rest of the Tucson faithful. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I was just like, this kid forces it.
I'll be honest. I thought he was dope his freshman year. I thought he was incredible, and I don't think he was I personally think the Arizona program is the problem.
Yeah.
Personally, because I thought he was showing so many things freshman year, and then just bad stuff happened, a lot of controversy in the program. But things happen to people.
Yeah.
Right. Adversity happens to people.
100%. 100%. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I'm about to get to that point with him. So, first day I met Alonzo was probably the end of this past March. Unfortunately, they got bounced out of the tournament pretty quickly. He declared a few days later, and he was off to the races trying to get prepared to go to the NBA. So we got linked up at the end of March and spent a day in the gym with him. We were working out and worked out for like 45 minutes to an hour. I walked up to him immediately after the workout. And this is just, at this point, like, I'm like this with everybody, but, these younger kids coming in, I just try to get straight to the point with them. I walked straight up to him. I said, hey, man, I'm not going to lie to you. I thought you were terrible. When we got linked up, I wasn't even thinking too much about this. Like, I of course, I'm going to give any kid a chance, because it's not about that. If you're a good person, you're a good person.
Yeah.
And Joe is. So I gravitated to him, though, because of the way he approaches the game. And then I just sat back and really got to look at his talent, because a point to what you're saying is college basketball isn't for everybody. It's a completely different game than the pros. They don't have a 3-second rule. You can clog the lane all day. There's no space to show your ability to create space, create for others, create your own shots. It's a systematic game where you have to run 30 seconds of shot clock and pass the ball a bunch of times. And, it's more team-oriented and focused. The kid's name is ISOZO.
That is his Instagram handle. I mean, there's no debating that.
That's his persona. Like, that type of game, that type of flow, that's, everything isn't for everybody. So, there's been so many kids that go to college and you don't get to see what they can do, because the game is not set up like that.
But I'll go further. I would say that that's not just athletes, right? I think what we're finding in 2018 is like college is not for everybody.
Yeah.
Like you can get an education, but it doesn't mean like you're ready for life or you're ready for the big leagues.
That's a fact.
Right? And so it's all about the focus, the determination, your habits, and grades or university doesn't really have anything to do with anything.
Yeah, that's a fact. I agree. But yeah, so to wrap the point up, I just agree with you. I didn't see it at first, and you know that happens sometimes. I know several people like that. Like you're not always gonna see it right away. Some certain situations don't put people in the best light to show exactly who they are, and he's an obvious case of that. He, like you said, a lot of controversy around the kid. Somehow doesn't go get drafted. Um, People aren't willing to take a chance because of the question marks around him. And we sit here today, um, November 5th, 2018, and he's putting the league on notice.
Yeah, man, he's making big news.
Yeah,
Right.
so.
If you haven't followed, undrafted, tearing up the NBA in it. I mean, not tearing up the NBA, but
100%.
making a difference on a young team that's winning more already than I think people realize.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. I mean, what I would say, hey, look, I'm a startup guy. I think that what you're identifying, it's an awful lot like startups.
Yeah.
And that is, if you're trying to find, in my world they call it product market fit, which is if you're selling something, you want someone to want it, and then when that locks in, then you can just keep selling it forever. And in order to be successful, you basically have to go try over and over and over again, and the teams that win are the teams that try over and over and over again until they win.
Yeah.
And if you just do it once, if you just try one attempt, two attempts, three attempts, maybe you hit, but it's like a lottery ticket.
Right.
But it's the teams that work over and over and over again. And I think that's what Zoe is doing, right? Like, this is a guy with a battery.
Yeah.
And he's working until it fits.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. We talk about that all the time, Ben. Like, so many parodies and so many similarities within startup tech world and sports. Like, you get these brand new juicer companies that
Yeah.
are supposed to, set the world on fire, and you get these brand new lottery picks who are, they're gonna transcend the position, and 6 months later they might be in the G League, and 6 months later,
Startups out of money.
right. So
Juiceros, you're like, wait a minute.
right. And then on the flip side of it, you get a controversial company that comes about, and everybody's doubting it, like, oh, this isn't gonna do anything, and boom, we might be IPOing a year later or something like that.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. I feel like that's why we see eye to eye.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's all going down, to bring it full circle here in LA.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's why the NBA guys are all here. I think that's why startups and technology and fashion and content, we're all ending up here in LA.
Yeah.
And that's what Chancebending is. Like, we're sitting here, we're like, look, we've got to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
We got to talk to people and make sure they understand. There's some pretty big trends going on right now.
100%. I think the guy who just put the stamp on that is, the top dog in the game. He can say whatever he wants to. LeBron James came out to LA for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If LeBron comes, is like, yeah, something's going right.
Made sense though. I mean, from a basketball perspective, who wouldn't want to link with a legend like Magic Johnson? You got a cool guy like Rob Pelinka there in the organization.
Is Rob a good guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michigan guy. That's my guy.
Yeah.
I like Rob. Luke, been around the game forever. Got youthful energy on that team, so it made it easier with the organization trending upward.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, with the opportunities and everything that he wants to get into in the film and content game, like, it's a no-brainer to do that. And it's just to your point, man. If the leader of the game is going to do that, I think everybody else is going to follow. Not necessarily coming to play for the Clippers or Lakers, but having roots in LA and
What's your KD prediction? You have a KD prediction for us?
It's going to be interesting. I definitely don't think he retires a Golden State Warrior. I don't know if that means he leaves this summer or he continues to sign one-year deals and leaves the following summer, but I definitely don't think he's going to end up being a Warrior. I think to piggyback off just what I said, the leader of this generation, and when it comes to hoops, he made his Miami move, controversial move, and He came back to Cleveland and did it. Then he moved on to LA. I think we're just in the time period where, guys aren't going for the traditional, I'm going to stay with the same team for 15 years. Like, it's a big world, and, why not plant roots in multiple different cities? So if I had to give a prediction, though, I think the New York thing might have legs. Why wouldn't you? I think I'd compare that to what I just said with LeBron. If you got a Magic, a staple in the game, and a legend like that to link with and pursue greatness with, why not? I mean,
I saw Zoe and KD on the same team.
Man, that's a lot of buckets. my guy Scott Perry is over there. That's family. So
that's right.
You're not gonna find too much of a better GM than that to link with. You're gonna be taken care of. My guy Fizdale is over there. I mean,
that's right.
If you got Scott Perry and Fizdale in a big time city like New York, Scott Perry and KD have roots together from their Seattle days. So
here's my take. If KD wants to be like LeBron, which we all agree, like, look at what LeBron's done. LeBron knows that you got to keep telling story. He's a storyteller. LeBron's a storyteller. He's a great storyteller. And KD, yeah, sure, he has all the multimedia and the investments now and the Golden State and this, but the story has to keep going.
Yeah.
And so you can't just hang out with the Golden State Warriors forever now.
Right.
You have to go tell a story.
Right.
And I think the Knicks, it's a great story. It's a big jump. It's a big jump from the Warriors to the Knicks right now.
Big. But if somebody's going to be able to do it, it's going to be him. That's probably the top 10 player ever.
You think the Clippers have any chance?
With KD?
Yeah.
They have a chance. Same thing. I think all of these guys are becoming aware that, it's not just about the city. It's about actually, because, everybody from the outside thinks, he's going to play in LA. He's going to play in Miami, New York, all these great cities. You better hope that you have somebody within that organization who you can trust, that they know what they're going to do, and you have the right support staff around you. Now, granted, it's funny that I mentioned those three cities. Those all have legends who you can trust that you're going to be involved with the winning culture. You want to go down to Miami? You got Pat Riley down there. You want to go to New York right now for a change? We got Scott Perry and Fizdale right there. 2 former NBA champions. Get it. LA, both teams. You got Magic Johnson and you got Jerry West there. So, I think these guys are putting an emphasis on that. Like, the guys are tired of the days of going to play for these guys who are guessing and acting like they understand what it takes to win, but then 6 months later, the relationship is spoiled. People aren't speaking to each other, and fingers start pointing, and that's a big emphasis that I think guys are valuing at this point. Going somewhere that somebody within the organization understands them and are gonna carry out the vision that they want to be a part of. So,
yeah, I think there's haves and have-nots.
Yeah,
and you see organizations that are they're just next level.
Yeah.
Right. Oftentimes they're in the bigger cities.
Yeah.
Right. The most desirable cities. And the point of Chancebending is we're talking to the athletes, we're talking to the entrepreneurs and the business people that are part of that change. And I think that they're the ones who you want to be around them, and they recognize the opportunities. And it's a have and a have not situation.
Yeah.
Why would you want to go play in somewhere like, I don't know, like some of these crappy, I don't even want to say some of these crappy locations or towns, but then you take a look at the winning organizations and the organizations that are doing new stuff, and it's like, man, this is a whole new world.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So, JD, we got a lot of stuff going on, man.
A lot.
Yeah. We're going to bring a lot of stories.
Yeah.
We have a lot of at-bats.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Let's do it, man.
All right, man. Good talking.
For sure.